Peugeot's 300 series, or 308 as we know it, has been in production now for 90 years. The brand's built over 15 million examples with a car with a 3 on the front. However, now in 2022, the 10th generation product has finally arrived in Australia, and as you can see, it looks absolutely fantastic. Apart from the all-new styling, there's some new technology going on board, and thank God the wagon has survived for 2022. We're here at the Australian launch, so what we're going to do is jump behind the wheel, take it for a spin, have a look at the interior and some of the options to see whether the Peugeot 308 can compete against the age-old watermark that is the Volkswagen Golf. Let's go. One of my favourite parts about the all-new Peugeot 308 is the way it looks. If you notice too, it's got the new brand on the front. It's the first product in the country to wear it, and I think it looks fantastic and sits very proud on the front. I also love how they've got the nomenclature or the numbers of the model on the front too, like an old Peugeot. It's a great nod to history and it looks fantastic. It's not all fun and games though, there are some really nice technology here too. Those slim headlights are not just slim, but they're also matrix LED headlights for the first time, which light up the road in a really fantastic manner, have automatic high beams and are good for nighttime driving. Overall, I think it looks smashing and the wagon is probably my favourite of the two. Over in the first row, we'll focus on what's new for 2022. Directly in front of me is a three-dimensional digital instrument cluster. It's quite hard to explain that in pictures, but basically what it does, it layers information. It gives you the speedo right at the front of the cluster and buries everything at the back. It's a new take on this whole digital instrument cluster thing, and I'm a bit not sure about it. Can be hard to use, can be a bit busy. Maybe over time I'll get used to it. Something else new is this 10-inch infotainment system with connected services. That means finally this Peugeot is connected to the internet. It means that the satellite navigation can give you fuel pricing, parking availability, all the sort of things that you get from a regular modern European car. So it's glad to see the brand's finally caught up. Finally, Peugeot have got the memo and fitted some decent sized cup holders so you can fit a big bottle in there and not just a small coffee. In terms of the rest of the cabin, well, as you can see, it's very stylised, very high-end, lots of different materials, some wonderful Alcantara on the doors, nice grained plastics, and to be honest, I think it looks quite futuristic. I've chosen the wagon for the second row for this video for one particular reason, because of the pair, hatch and wagon, the wagon has the least knee room. As you can see, I'm about 183 centimetres tall and my knees are quite close to the seat back and my feet unable to get in front of the seat ahead of me. It's a little bit uncomfortable here, so if you're going to be using the second row a lot, say you've got a couple of kids, you may actually consider the hatchback for that very reason. In terms of the rest of the amenities for both cars, they've all got air vents, they've all got 2 USB-C ports, all got door pockets, and some rather stingy bottle holders too in the doors. We do need a bit more storage here because there's no fold down armrest, so that's something that Peugeot could improve on. So where do we start with the Peugeot 308? Well, the thing I like least about it is this powertrain, sadly. It's just a bit undercooked for the money. It's only got 96 kilowatt and give or take 230, 240 Newton meters. And honestly, for the price point, you just expect a bit more. You put your foot down, it goes okay, but it doesn't have the sort of vigor or punch that the aesthetics from the outside lend you to think it may have. However, the 8-speed torque converter transmission built by Japanese experts Aisin in this car is fantastic. Peugeot have a long history of some bad transmission issues, and thank God they've got a Japanese manufacturer building them a great torque converter 8-speed that works really well. It's geared nicely, it shifts up and down crisply, and it's just what you sort of expect. We spent the day driving it all throughout the south coast of New South Wales, around the Gerringong areas. We've done fast-paced country roads covered in potholes, water damage roads, high-speed freeway, a bit of everything today. I'll try and explain to you how this Peugeot iCockpit sort of feels behind the wheel too while I'm here. What Peugeot have done is lift the gauge cluster above the steering wheel, so you're not looking through it, you're sort of looking over it, out to the car. What you've got to do is sort of, to work with it, is drop the steering wheel right in your lap so you can see through it. It doesn't block the gauge cluster, which takes a little bit of getting used to with the steering wheel in your lap, but after a while, it feels quite natural. The three-dimensional qualities of it, I find it a little bit distracting when driving. It's just a bit busy, and I just would prefer a simple mode which you can set to 2D, but it does take away from the wow factor, I guess. They put the 3 dimensions in to use it. It's a shame it's not as usable as they would like. But overall, the cabin, look, it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you spend a couple hours behind the wheel, you'll feel at home in a Peugeot 308. The ride quality, however, is really quite good. Peugeot, again, have a history of putting lightweight quality cars with good handling, and this thing's no exception. Steering's quite darty and a bit fast, some of it could take a while to get used to it, but the car itself is composed, it's good over bumps. One thing I've noticed, the cabin is very quiet. It's nice in here, nice ambience. And the handling's good too. It just steers nicely, stops nicely. The brake pedal's got a lot of good bite behind it, and overall it's a confidence-inspiring drive. So in terms of the ride and handling and the driving experience, it is close to something like a Volkswagen Golf, but that powertrain just lets it down a little bit, I think. So can the Peugeot 308 really compete with the Volkswagen Golf? I honestly think so. The driveline is a little bit undercooked in this car, and it's just one engine, but the rest of the car absolutely stands up to the challenge. It looks fantastic, the interior is great, the connected services are something that the brand's been missing for quite a while now, and to be honest, where else can you buy a bloody good looking wagon for under 60 grand? Honestly, Peugeot are onto something here, so I recommend you get behind the wheel and take one for a drive and let me know what you think. Jump in the comments below to leave your thoughts. And as usual, make sure you like and subscribe to Drive to be kept up to date with the latest and greatest car reviews in Australia.